Eleanor Martinez stood frozen at the edge of the glittering ballroom, her champagne flute trembling in her weathered hand, as the wedding planner, a wiry man in a tailored suit, pointed to the back row with a dismissive flick of his wrist. "Your seat's there, Mrs. Martinez. Row 20, seat 8. Don't block the aisle." His tone carried the practiced disdain of someone accustomed to managing Miami's elite events. Earlier that day, Sophia, her son Carlos's fiancée, had leaned close, her designer perfume sharp as her words. "Your background could tarnish our image, Eleanor. Please don't make a scene." Her manicured nails tapped the seating chart like a judge's gavel. Carlos, her only child, stood beside Sophia, his eyes averted as if she were a stain on his tailored tuxedo. The betrayal cut deeper than the humid Miami night, slicing through the years she'd spent raising him alone. They'd always been consistent in their cruelty, but tonight, at this lavish wedding on Star Island's most opulent estate, she'd uncover their true colors and deliver a lesson they'd never forget. "My name is Eleanor Martinez. I'm 70 years old, and 3 years ago I buried my husband, Javier, after a brutal fight with leukemia. I thought that was the worst pain I'd ever endure. I was wrong. Nothing prepared me for the humiliation my son would inflict, culminating in this moment at his wedding to Miami's most entitled heiress. The Delgado estate sprawled before me like a tropical palace, all palm-lined paths and cascading fountains reflecting the moonlight. 600 guests mingled in couture gowns and bespoke suits, each outfit costing more than my supposed pension. I smoothed my faded navy dress, a thrift store find I'd chosen deliberately, and reminded myself I belonged here. This was my son's wedding, even if he'd forgotten that fact. "Eleanor Martinez?" The planner's voice dripped with contempt. "Row 20, seat 8. The very back, naturally. Behind the caterers, behind the photographers, practically in the yacht dock." I saw Sophia's mother, Isabella, at the front, her diamond tiara glinting as she laughed with her socialite clique, their glances at me sharp as glass shards as I shuffled down the aisle. Conversations hushed, not with respect for the groom's mother, but with the awkward silence of witnessing a social outcast. A woman in a glittering gown whispered to her companion, "That's Carlos's mom. Sophia said she was a seamstress or something." I wasn't a seamstress. I'd been a logistics coordinator for a global shipping firm for 35 years, but that didn't fit their narrative of a poor Cuban-American widow. The back row was nearly empty, save for a few stragglers and a waiter balancing a tray of empty flutes. I settled into my seat, watching Carlos greet guests at the altar. He looked dashing, his black hairs slicked back, every inch the successful real estate attorney he'd become. For a fleeting moment, I saw the boy who'd once drawn me crayon hearts, calling me his hero. That boy was gone, replaced by a man ashamed of his roots. The ceremony began with grandeur fit for a telenovela. Sophia glided down the aisle in a Vera Wang gown, its train shimmering like the ocean, probably worth more than my old Honda. She was stunning in a polished, untouchable way. As she passed my row, her eyes slid past me like I was invisible. Carlos stared at her with adoration that twisted my heart. He'd never looked at me like that. I'd been the practical parent, handling budgets and bedtimes, while Javier played the fun dad, teaching him to fish off Key Biscayne. "Dearly beloved," the officiant's voice boomed, and I tried to feel grateful for being invited at all. They could have excluded me entirely, a cruelty Sophia hadn't quite stooped to. Then I felt someone sit beside me. I turned to see a man in a charcoal Armani suit, his silver hair catching the chandelier light, his green eyes sharp with quiet authority. Everything about him screamed wealth, from his polished loafers to the Patek Philippe watch glinting on his wrist. "Act like you're with me," he whispered, his voice low and urgent. Before I could speak, he covered my hand with his own, smiling as if we were lifelong friends. The shift was instant. I wasn't the pitiful widow in the back row anymore. I was half of a sophisticated couple. Whispers around us changed. "Who's that with Carlos's mom?" someone murmured. "He looks like old money. Maybe we misjudged her." His timing was uncanny. As Carlos and Sophia exchanged vows, he leaned closer. "When your son looks this way, smile like I've said something." "Charming." I didn't know why the stranger was helping me, but I played along. Sure enough, Carlos's gaze swept the crowd during a pause, landing on our row when he saw me laughing softly beside this elegant man. His face blanched. Sophia noticed her perfect smile twitching as she spotted me no longer alone, but paired with someone who belonged in the front row with the Delgados. "Perfect," he whispered. "Your son looks like he's swallowed a lemon. Who are you?" I hissed, keeping my smile in place. "Someone who should have been here decades ago," he replied cryptically. "We'll talk after. Just enjoy watching them squirm." I did. For the first time in years, I felt a spark of power in this family dynamic. Carlos's confusion was almost worth the sting of being banished to social exile. The ceremony continued, but the mood shifted. Guests kept glancing back, trying to place my companion. The socialites who'd sneered at my dress now craned their necks to study the man treating me with such warmth. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, my ally stood, offering his arm. "Shall we head to the reception, Eleanor?" His use of my name sent a jolt through me. How did he know? As we walked toward the reception tent, I felt eyes trailing us. The same people who'd ignored me now watched with curiosity and something like respect. "You didn't tell me your name," I said as we crossed the manicured lawn. He smiled, transforming his face into something boyish. "Miguel Salazar, but you used to call me Miko." The name hit me like a rogue wave, memories flooding back of a summer in 1972 Miami, salsa music and stolen kisses. Miko, my first love from 50 years ago. I stopped so suddenly a guest nearly bumped into me. "Miko, you're supposed to be in Spain. You're supposed to have a family by now." He guided me to a secluded corner of the garden, away from the crowd. His eyes still the same emerald green I'd loved at 19, now etched with lines of a life I hadn't shared. "I never married," he said simply, "and I never stopped searching for you." The words bridged half a century of loss. I felt 19 and 70 all at once, dizzy with the collision of past and present. "Searching for me?" I whispered. "You left for Madrid after high school. I got married, had a son, built a life." My voice cracked with old hurt. "You never wrote, never called." His face tightened. "I wrote you every week for 2 years, called your house until your father threatened to call the police. I came back to Miami in 74, but you'd moved. No one would tell me where." I shook my head. "My father, he hated you. Thought you were too ambitious, too rich for our Hialeah roots. He must have burned your letters." The realization sank like a stone. My father's disapproval had stolen my future with Miko. By 1978, I was married to Javier, pregnant with Carlos. "You knew," he said softly. "I hired a detective. You were happy with a family. I couldn't ruin that." 1978? Carlos was born in 79. I'd been married 2 years. The timing was a cruel twist. If Miko had found me sooner, everything might have been different. "A detective?" I laughed bitterly. Here I am at my son's wedding, discussing a lost love with the man who haunted my dreams for a decade. The reception music started, a Latin jazz band filling the tent with vibrant rhythms. "We should join," I said, but my feet wouldn't move. Why now? Why today? Miko's expression grew serious. "I saw Javier's obituary 3 years ago. Wanted to reach out, but it felt wrong then. Last month, I saw the wedding announcement in the Miami Herald." He pulled a clipping from his pocket. Carlos and Sophia's engagement photo glowed with privilege. It mentioned the groom's mother, Eleanor Martinez, a retired clerk. "I knew it was you. After 50 years, a newspaper delivered you to me. I came to see you, not to disrupt, just to watch you be proud of your son. But when I saw how they treated you, I couldn't stay silent." Carlos's voice cut through. "Mother, we need to talk." He approached with Sophia, both radiating panic, her wedding glow replaced by a tight-lipped frown. Carlos's face flushed with something like anger. "Mother, shouldn't you be with the guests?" I said, holding Miko's arm. "I'm sure Sophia's family is wondering where you are." "Who is this?" Sophia demanded, her voice low but venomous. Miko stepped forward. "Miguel Salazar, an old friend of your mother's. I should have introduced myself sooner, but I was caught up seeing Eleanor again. Carlos shook his hand mechanically, his lawyer's poise faltering. Friend, how long have you known my mother? Miko's smile was warm. We were close once, before she met your father. Quite serious, actually. Sophia's eyes narrowed. What kind of serious? Miko looked at me. Serious enough that I've regretted losing her for 50 years. When I saw she'd be here, I couldn't stay silent. Away, Carlos's alarm grew. Mother, what's he talking about? You never mentioned a Miguel Salazar. Lots I never mentioned, I said quietly. Apparently, I wasn't worth asking about my past until now. You thought I'd embarrass you, so you hid me in the back row. Now you're curious. Sophia's blush was visible even under her makeup. We just want to know who he is. I'm here because Eleanor deserves someone who values her, Mako said, because she's extraordinary. The contrast with their treatment stung. Sophia rallied. Mr. Salazar, this is a family event. Perhaps it's best if we don't need to remove you, do we? Her threat was clear. Security could escort him out. Mako's laugh was sharp. You think security scares me, Mrs. Delgado? Let's clarify something. A black Rolls-Royce pulled up to the tent's entrance. A driver emerged with a leather folder. James, thank you, Mako said, taking it. Sophia, Mr. Delgado, care to see something interesting? He opened the folder, revealing documents. These are plans for the new Salazar Tower, a 50-story waterfront project. Construction starts next quarter. He flipped a page. This is the site. Sophia gasped. That's where Delgado Realty has its headquarters. Was, Miko corrected. I bought it last month. Tenants have 60 days to relocate. I'm sure your family will find new space, though perhaps not as prime. Sophia's face drained of color. You can't do that. The sale's done, Mako said. Pure coincidence. I didn't know the Delgado connection until today. Carlos found his voice. What do you want? I don't want anything from you, Miko said. You've given me the gift of seeing how you treat your mother. I turned to Mako. Let's leave. We have 50 years to catch up on. I'm done pretending to enjoy this. He offered his arm and we walked away. Sophia's voice rose. Brandon, do you know who Miguel Salazar is? I didn't look back. The Miami night wrapped around us, warm and alive. Mako drove us to a rooftop restaurant in Coconut Grove, its views stretching across the glittering bay. The staff greeted him like royalty. Mr. Salazar, your usual table. Wine list, please, and those empanadas Eleanor loves. I froze. You remember empanadas from 1972? I remember everything, he said. The way you danced to Celia Cruz, how you stole my cafecito because you loved the foam. Tears pricked my eyes. When had anyone noticed me like that? Javier loved me, but it was steady, practical love, not this wonder. Tell me about your life, Mako said. Not the headlines, the real stuff. I told him about my career coordinating shipments for a firm that moved goods across the Caribbean, about the students I mentored in night classes, about Carlos's childhood and my pride in his law degree. I told him about the loneliness after Javier's death, how Carlos's calls became perfunctory, how I'd become a duty. Today wasn't new, I admitted, just the loudest example of being invisible. Mako's jaw clenched. That boy doesn't deserve you. He's a man now, making his choices. We sipped wine, the city sparkling below. What about you? No wife? No kids? A few relationships, he said. None lasted. I kept comparing them to you, Eleanor. What are we doing? I asked. This isn't just a reunion, is it? I'm 70, he said. I've built an empire, traveled the world, but every day I wondered what life with you would have been like. We can't go back, I said. We're not those kids anymore. We're better, he countered. We know what matters. My phone buzzed. Carlos's texts, frantic. Mom, who is Salazar? He's worth billions. What's your connection? Sophia's dad wants to meet him. Call me. I showed Mako, who grinned. Their interest in you grew fast. What about the building business? He said.
but I could reconsider the lease if they show better manners. My phone rang, Sophia's name flashing. Hello, Eleanor. Her voice strained. We'd love to have you and Mr. Salazar for dinner tomorrow. A stark change from the morning's cruelty. I'll check with Maiko, I said. We're quite busy catching up. Her silence was thick with frustration. Let us know what works. I hung up, savoring the shift. Mako raised his glass to unexpected days. The next night, he picked me up in the Rolls-Royce. I wore my best dress, a simple emerald number Javier loved. You look stunning, Mako said, making me feel it for the first time in years. At the restaurant, a South Beach hotspot, Carlos and Sofia waited, looking like they were facing a deposition. Sofia's makeup was flawless, her dress couture, but her smile was nervous. Mom, Carlos stood. Thank you for coming, Mr. Salazar. Miguel, please, Mako said. We're family now. Sofia flinched at the word. We sat at a prime table, the staff treating Mako with deference. Menus appeared, wine flowed. You two have history, Sofia said, probing. I smiled. Selective, not mysterious. Kids don't care about their mom's past, do they? Romantic history? Carlos choked on his water. Oh yes, Mako said. We planned a life together.
Until her father intervened. Cut off my letters, my father, I said. He thought Miko was too flashy for our family. By the time he found me, I was married to yours. The silence was heavy. I loved Javier, I said, but it wasn't what Miko and I had. Everything, Miko said softly. Carlos leaned forward. What are your intentions with my mother? To make up for lost time, Miko said. It's up to Eleanor what she wants. I want respect, I said, not to be a burden or a shame. I looked at Carlos. You've treated me like a chore for years. Yesterday was just public, Mom. If this is about the seating, it's months of being erased. I cut in. Now you care because Miguel has power? Sofia blushed. We were surprised you had a guest. I wasn't, I said. Miguel was a gift. And the building? Carlos asked. Miko's smile was sharp. Business. But I could adjust terms with the right circumstances. Like what? Sofia asked. Respect, Miko said, starting with an apology for yesterday. Carlos shifted. Mom, I'm sorry for the seating, for not defending you. Sofia's struggle was visible. I apologize for my comment about your image, she said stiffly. It was wrong. I looked at her. Are you sorry, or just scared of consequences? She didn't answer. The dinner continued, polite but tense. Terms clear. Respect me, and Miko might ease the lease. By dessert, it was settled. We left, Sofia grabbing my arm. Eleanor, can we start fresh? Sunday brunch, maybe? I'll check, I said. Miguel and I have plans. Her panic was palpable. Sunday found me in Miguel's Brick Hill penthouse, its views of Biscayne Bay breathtaking. Coffee, he offered, leading me to a plush sofa. This suits you, I said. Luxurious but real. He laughed. I was broke once. You'd sneak me extra arepas when we were teens. We sat, the weight of lost years heavy. Why didn't you reach out after finding me? I thought you were happy, he said. With Javier, a son. I couldn't disrupt that. You could have given me a choice. I was young, proud, hurt, he admitted. Thought you'd moved on. We were idiots, spectacularly so, I laughed. My father was a master manipulator. He hated you, thought you'd pull me from Hialeah. He did, Miko said, but you became a coordinator, mentored kids, raised Carlos. That's real value. Now it feels like my worth is tied to you, I said. They only care because of your money. Their blindness doesn't lessen you, he said. My phone buzzed. Carlos's weekly text. Hi, Mom. How's your week? I showed Miko, who grimaced. Duty call? I usually say I'm fine, I said. What today? The truth. I texted. Having a great weekend. Miguel's showing me his yacht. We're planning a Bahamas trip. My phone rang instantly. Mom, Carlos sounded panicked. Bahamas with a billionaire you just met? I've known him 50 years, I said. I don't need permission. I'm 70, not 7. Mom, be reasonable. I'm being very reasonable. I hung up, turning off my phone. That felt amazing, I said. Miko grinned. No Bahamas yacht yet, but I can get one by tomorrow. Monday brought a knock at my Coral Gables bungalow. Sophia's mother, Valeria, stood there, her blonde hair perfect, her eyes cold. Mrs. Martinez, I'm Valeria Delgado. We need to talk. Her tone assumed compliance. Please come in, I said, curious. She swept in, scanning my modest home with disdain. Coffee? I offered. No, thank you, she said. This won't take long. Your relationship with Miguel Salazar is threatening my family. How so? I asked. Don't play coy, she snapped. My husband's business is at risk because you're using Salazar to punish Sophia for a wedding comment. Consequences, not punishment, I said. Her eyes narrowed. This is extortion. Business, I corrected. Your husband's firm leases Miko's building. Bad timing. She pulled a check from her Prada bag. $75,000. Convince Salazar to keep our lease. I stared, shocked, not at the amount, but the gall. A bribe? Mrs. Delgado, I said. You think I'm for sale? Everyone has a price, she said. I walked to my window, gazing at the garden Javier and I planted, hibiscus blooming bright. Yesterday I might have considered it, I said, not for money, but for validation. Today I know my worth. It's more than $75,000. I tore the check, letting pieces fall. This is insulting. Not the amount, the assumption my relationship with Miko can be bought. Valeria stood furious. You're making a mistake. We have influence. We can ruin you. Threats don't scare me anymore, I said. Yesterday they might have. Today they're laughable. I've spent 50 years afraid of not being enough, but Miko sees me. You can't touch that. She stormed out. You'll regret this. No, I said. It's over. You showed me who you are. Miko called later. Good morning, beautiful. Quite a visit from Valeria Delgado, I said. She offered $75,000 to save their lease. His silence stretched. $75,000? Pathetic. I tore it up. Felt great. He laughed. You're full of surprises. I have a proposal. Let's teach the Delgados about respect. What's the plan? Something big. Lunch today, I met Miko at a Brickell skyscraper. His attorney, Sofia Lopez, a sharp woman in her 50s, waited in a sleek office. Mrs. Martinez, she said, Miguel's told me about the Delgados. Here's what I found. She spread documents. Delgado Realty looks strong, but they're over-leveraged. The building Miguel bought is 35% of their cash flow. Meaning, I asked. They can't afford to move. Miko said, relocation would bankrupt them. Valeria's bribe was a desperate save, so when she offered $75,000, I said she was saving her empire. Exactly, Miko grinned. What's our play? Lopez pulled more papers. We can enforce the eviction or offer a new lease. Higher rates, shorter term, with conduct clauses. Conduct? I asked. Clauses requiring public apologies, community service, ethical business practices. Miko said. Legal accountability for their behavior. Can we do that? Lopez smiled. When survival's at stake, people sign anything. I want you as a signatory, Miko said. You're the wronged party. You should shape their lesson. We spent an hour crafting terms. Public apologies at a Miami charity gala, mandatory donations, ethical audits by Friday or eviction, Lopez said. Papers go out today. Comfortable? Miko asked. I thought of Valeria's bribe, Sophia's cruelty, Carlos's silence. I'm thrilled, I said. That evening, Carlos called. Mom, what's happening? Sophia's mom's hysterical about lease terms, ruining them. I did nothing, I said. Miguel made a business call. Public apologies and leases? That's insane. Consequences, I said, not extortion. Choose a side, Carlos. Me or them. Mom, that's unfair. Unfair?
I snapped. When was it fair to hide me at your wedding, to let Sophia call me a disgrace? You apologized because of Miko's money. Where was your regret before? Silence. I hung up, waiting to see his choice. Friday's gala at the Fontainebleau was electric, Miami's elite buzzing for a children's charity. Miko ensured I looked regal in a sapphire gown, my hair swept up. I felt powerful, not pitiful. Mrs. Martinez, a socialite from the wedding, gushed, "You look divine. Mr. Salazar, a pleasure." Her tone shifted from disdain to fawning, the power of Miko's wealth. Sophia's table was mid-room, her composure brittle. The MC announced, "Mrs. Delgado wishes to speak." Sophia approached the podium, her hands shaking. "Thank you all," she said. "I must address a wrong at my wedding. I told my mother-in-law, Eleanor Martinez, her background would embarrass us. It was cruel, inexcusable." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Eleanor dedicated her life to logistics, mentored youth, raised Carlos. She deserves respect. I let my prejudice hurt her. I'm deeply sorry. The room stilled. Sophia stepped down to hesitant applause. I stood. "Thank you, Sophia. Your apology is noted." My voice cool. Forgiveness wasn't granted, just acknowledged. As we left, Miko took my arm. "Free," I said. "I feel free." My phone buzzed. "Carlos? Mom, can we talk tomorrow?" I texted, "Your move." At 70, I was done reacting to others' choices, ready to write my own story, spectacular and true.